How we going, guys? Welcome to another Hoggs vlog. I'll just put my collar down, get it right. Now, Shrinit Prakash, how you going? Rama Reddy, welcome to Hoggs Vlog Live. Shrihari, Atal Baral, Reddy Kavori, yes. All right, let's get into it. England are in a lot of trouble after day one when conditions were in their favour. Well done to India. How do India keep on top? That's what we're going to discuss on Hoggs Vlog. Roll bumper, please, Shubs. Well, I've got to say, England had a bit of a day yesterday that reminded me of my night last night. I just want to share a quick story. I have lost my phone, but it's my own stupidity that I lost my bloody phone. So what actually happened, I have a little carrier bag. I had my phone in my hand. I didn't have it in my bag. I was looking for my keys. I put my phone on top of the car and couldn't find my key, so I ran back over to my wife who was in her car just to see if she had my keys. She didn't, and then I found it in my bag, came in, opened the door and forgot to pick up my phone, and I don't know where it is. So it had a good leather case, so it probably would have sat on the car for a good distance. So anyone out there that is around Perth where I live, if you can hand that into the police, that would be great, because I'd like to have my license back and my credit card as well that was in there as well. What a stupid bloke I am to be able to do that. That's the second time I've done that, actually. I've done it with my remote as well. I have a habit of leaving things on my car. But anyway, let's get into it. Let's go to the first talking point, please. Shubs, can we get that up? Yes, breaking news. Let's get rid of the breaking news. Rahul Rohit, they were absolutely sensational last night. Rohit Sharma, that is probably the best test innings I have seen him play. Yes, I've seen him play a lot of quality games, quality matches in India, but on foreign soil, on one of the toughest conditions that you are going to have as an opening batsman out Lords, that was sensational. He was absolutely dynamite. He played with patience. Then he took on Curran, but I love the way that he took on Wood as well with the pull shot. Remember, he got out in the first test match with the pull shot to Robinson, but he controlled it against Wood, who had that extra pace and a little bit of extra bounce as well. And I just loved the way that he played and just waited for the ball to come onto his hips and play through that leg side. He was brilliant. And really, both Rahul and Rohit have had wonderful partnerships, and that's one thing that they had lacking in 2018, getting off to good starts. So it's great these two are combined well. There was a lot of question marks about both of them away from Indian conditions, and they've really stepped up. They've had 2 months over there, and it's worked well. Now, Rohit Sharma, Rahul, I love the way he went about his business. The cover drives, the back foot punches through that back point region. That's the best I've seen him play for a very long time, and he looks as though he's quite comfortable back in that Indian lineup. And well done to the Indian selectors for having faith in keeping him for the second test match. They could have gone for Agarwal, their first choice selection for that opening place, but they stuck with Rahul, and he's repaid the favour with 2 brilliant innings in this test series so far. Well done for him for a 100, but he's still got plenty to play for, and he has got a lot of work to do still to put India in a prominent position. The only thing that I was worried about with Rahul last night, with the short ball, he looked a little bit worried. I saw him pull one wide of off stump from Wood, and that just told me that he was a little bit unsure with that extra pace and that shortness. And the only way I'll say that is because I've been in the same situation at that level with those extra quick bowlers. When you just get that extra pace and you're a bit unsure, sometimes you can be found just sitting on that back foot and looking to play a pull shot just to try and get the emphasis back on the bowler to change his line and length to you. And he also played a pull shot against Robinson, which he was a bit late on. So I just think that he can expect a few more short balls for the rest of this series from the England attack. So he's just got to have a way to counteract that. But the way he ducked and weaved was sensational. It was only when he played the pull shot that I was a little bit worried. But it was a brilliant innings and great partnership by those two. Okay, let's go on to the second point. Pujara. I think Pujara is in a little bit of trouble at the moment. He is out of nick. When I saw him over here in Australia, he kept it nice and tight. He didn't chase anything outside the off stump until he was settled, and it was a scoring opportunity. But early on in his innings yesterday, he was flashing that bat outside off stump, and he was creating those chances, and the English bowlers were licking their lips to him. So he's got a lot of work to do if he is going to stay in this Indian team over there in England. He's got one more innings in this Lord's Test match. If they win, I think they'll go with him in the third Test match. If they don't win, I think a little bit of trouble at this stage with the form that he is in. Absolutely love the way he goes about it. He's a true Test player, but he's just having a tough time of it at the moment. And hopefully India get over the line and he still gets another opportunity, because you don't want to see players being dropped too early. But when you're in the big leagues right now and the pressure's on and you've got a World Test Championship final to look forward to in 2 years' time and you've got to get wins on the board, you've got to make those changes. Rightio, let's go to the next talking point. England bowlers, I just think Anderson bowled exceptionally well. There's no doubt about that. Robinson had a few moments where he was good, but I just thought he was a little bit wayward. Curran was a little bit wayward, and I thought Wood was just a little bit too aggressive, and when he was full, he was too wide. Yes, I felt that they got the good length right, but I just thought they didn't attack the right line long enough, and they let the pressure off the Indian batsman. If they hit that right line a little bit more, the Indian batsman might have been in a little bit more trouble. But because they were a little too wide for too long and too much down leg side as well to allow those scoring opportunities, they let Indian batsmen off the hook. So I felt the English bowlers could have bowled a little bit better. And when Virat Kohli was out there as well, I just thought they were a little bit too defensive. They got it wrong. He was playing and missing outside off stump. He was chasing a lot of balls outside off stump. You saw him mark a place forward of the crease to say, right, I've got to leave balls outside that particular line. Anything in that line, I've got to play. So you look at that and you think there's something in his mind there. He's a little bit concerned. He's a little bit worried. It looks as though he's not confident with that little mark. And I just thought they were a little bit too defensive, and especially Wood bowled too short to him for too long. They should have just been attacking that corridor, because he was playing missing a lot, and his footwork wasn't as dynamic as what we've seen before. Okay, they're the talking points, and I've got my story out with a phone. Let's get to the questions. Now I'm going to put my glasses on. Hopefully we get them straight this time rather than a little crooked. Yep, there we go. Rightio, Shubs, the first question up, please. Okay, Ramareddy Kavuri, how are you going, mate? Thank you very much for joining me on Hoggs Vlog. Hoggs, sir, what do you think about Ishant ahead of Ashwin after seeing the bowling of Moeen Ali? Look, I think with the conditions that you've seen over there, there would have been a bit of moisture in the pitch. There wasn't as much grass as what we saw up in Trent Bridge, up there in Nottingham. But I think you've got to go with four seamers, and you've got that all-rounder in Jadeja who can bowl a bit of off-spin as well. So for me, I think the seamers are going to do the damage on this particular wicket. It's a pity that India ended up having to bowl second. If they bowled first, it would have been a better option having Ishant in front of Ashwin. And when you go into a test match like this, you expect to win. Well, you think that you might win the toss. So you want to go in with that team knowing that you get full benefit of winning that toss. So that's why I thought they went with four seamers. Now that they have batted first and got a few runs on the board, they might be thinking in the back of the mind, oh, we wish we picked Ashwin. It might dry up out the back end. But in saying that, if they bowl England out cheaply, they won't have to bowl in that last innings. They might be able to force England with a follow-on as well. So there's different scenarios there. But I think they've done the right thing with Ishant instead of Ashwin on this particular wicket with the moisture on it. There's going to be a little bit more seam than spin. Okay, good question there, Rama. Rama ready. Rightio. No, we've done that one, please, Shubs. Can we move on to the next one? A little bit of technical difficulty there. Tanmoy Chakraborty. Yes, he's out the medical college. I hope the college is going well. Hi, Hoggy. How you going, mate? Virat Kohli not quite like Virat. What he needs to do in coming innings, or it's only about confidence mainly? Excuse me. I think it's just a little bit about the confidence with Virat Kohli. If I looked at that dismissal last night, I just felt that he was on the move with his initial footwork and he wasn't in a position that he normally gets into when he's on top of his game. So that head was slightly still moving out the point of delivery, and he's normally not like that. Yes, he does have the initial movements. Sorry. Yes, he does have the initial movements, but I just thought he wasn't in the right time, or he didn't have the timing when he's in his best form. So that's something that he's going to have to address and work on. And I just think the hype of Virat Kohli and Anderson, and Virat Kohli wanting to lead from the front as well, and knowing that it's a big tournament, knowing that they've lost the World Test Championship final just of late, there just might be a little bit of extra pressure there with Virat with the batting. Want to prove a point, and that might be just playing with his timing as well. But don't write him off. He will make 100 or 2 in this test series moving forward. That's a good pickup there, Ten Moy. Can we go to the next question, Shubs? And while we're doing that, I'm going to have a drink of water. Went for a bike ride today to try and find my phone. That's why my throat's a little bit dry. Hi, Hoggy. It's very unusual. This is Viswa Malu. How are you going, Viswa? It's very unusual to see a great opening partnership in bowling conditions of England. You're exactly right there. Is this the best lesson to learn for players how to bat in England from Rohit and Rahul? I think it's the perfect way that they've batted. They've had a little bit of luck go their way. But the thing is, they've played in their favour. They've played at the balls early when it was the most dangerous moments that they had to protect the stumps. Anything wide, they were prepared to leave. And I think this is the most I've ever seen Rohit Sharma leave. And Rahul's just been as good as well. They're making the English bowlers have to bowl to them. And because England didn't get the ball in the right lines enough times, that created a little bit more luck for India. So for me, the way that they batted, just played the line. If it just seemed away, they didn't chase it. They more pulled the bat away from it. I just think that's perfect opening batting on English conditions. And it's not easy to do. You have to have the right mindset for it, and you have to practice it diligently. And this is probably the most prevalent thing for India. They've had 2 months over there on English conditions, and they've adapted well. And Rohit and Rahul, we've both had question marks over them before the test series because of English conditions, and they've proved a point. You need time to prepare in those conditions, and it's really paid off for the Indian openers. Good point there, Vishwa. Totally agree with you. Next question, please, Shubs. There we go. Naveen Aswati. Do you think it's time to replace Pujara with Sky? Now, Naveen, you are a big supporter of Sky, just like me. I absolutely love him. Enjoyed it when I played with him out Kolkata Knight Riders. He was very fluent, very aggressive in the nets, and he was prepared to take those risks. And I just think someone out number 3, Pujara is just going to push and shove, and if he's not going to score any runs, I think it might be time to bring someone like Sky in at number 3. If he faces as many balls, he might be 20 or 30 in that particular time, and that quick 20 or 30 changes the momentum in India's favour, and it just takes a little bit of pressure off the batsman coming in next in Virat Kohli and Rahane. It allows them just to take a little bit more time and not feel that pressure of having to keep the scoreboard ticking over quickly. So for me, I think Sky could be a very good option in these conditions, just something different, something a little bit more aggressive. And I just think he can play a big part in this test series for India moving forward. That's if Pujara doesn't bring up or come up with the goods in the second innings. I'm really worried about Pujara. Absolutely love him. Absolutely love the way that he plays, but I just think his spot's in jeopardy right now. Next question, please, Shubs. That's a very good question there, Naveed. Shrinath Prakash, how you going? Ask Hoggy. That's the hashtag. Do you think Rahul will move to the middle order once again if Gill or Mayank become available? This is a thing with Rahul. He's very adaptable. We've seen it in the white ball format as well, where he's batted out different positions. I just think when you're in a big test series like this over in England and it's tough conditions like it is now, and both Rohit and Rahul have got two partnerships, 97 in that first test match and 100 partnership in the second test match, I don't think you want to break that partnership up. So moving forward, I can't see Mayank or Gill getting into this lineup while those two are really making runs and putting formidable partnerships on the board. I think someone like Sky might come in at number 3 for a Pujara. That's probably the only change I can see in this Indian lineup right now. And well done to Rahul, because there's been a lot of pressure on him. You've got Prithvi Shaw that's batted in front of him. Gill's batted in front of him. Agarwal's been put in front of him. He's been sitting there as the floater, as the spare batsman, as the adaptable batter. And just with his team ethics, the values that he brings to this lineup, the selflessness that he has, he deserves what he has got because he puts team first. So well done to Rahul there. So I see your point, but I can't see Rahul going down the order from this point out the moment. But good point there, Shrinath. Okay, next question, please, Shubs. Nandini Kande, how are you going, mate? Hey, Hoggy, how are you going? I am doing well, mate. Do you see Ashwin playing later in this series? Ask Hoggy. The weather over in England out at the moment's been, there's been a lot of moisture in the air. There's been a lot of rain. So that's putting a little bit of juice in the pitches and allowing the curators to have a little bit more grass. And I think with what I've heard from England and the coach, they want to prepare pitches that have more seam movement. And they think that that's the weakness that they can exploit from the Indian batsmen. They haven't been able to do it yet. So let's see what England do down the track if they change their plan and think, right, okay, this the seam or the green pitches aren't working. We might have to go to a drier pitch, and there's been a bit of sun around for the next couple of weeks. You might see Ashwin play in there when there's a drier pitch. But at the moment, I think, as Virat Kohli said after the Nottingham Test match, he's got a template where he wants to play 4 quicks on these conditions and have that spare spinner. If Thakur makes a few runs batting down the lower order, they may at some stage swap Jadeja for Ashwin and just risk that lack of batting just to have the better spinner in the lineup. That's the only way I see Ashwin really having a major role in this series at the moment, unless things dry up. But it's disappointing that he's not in there. He's gone over, played county cricket. He's worked on his game in England, knowing that there's going to be limited opportunities for him. And it would be great if Indian selectors can reward that sacrifice at some stage to see if that county experience has benefited him for the test series or test match level. Good point there, Nadini. Okay, next question, please, Shubs. Okay, Srinidhi, how are you going? Hoggy, do you think that Pujara's technique is reflecting upon his scores as he has struggled facing swing in England? Thing with Pujara, I thought he was going to do quite well over here because he has that tight technique. And he doesn't normally chase those balls outside off stump. He has a lot of patience, but there's something that's crept into him in the mental side of things. He seems to be a little bit more impatient. I think a little bit of chatter about how slow he is could be on the back of his mind. He was part of the IPL in a squad over there just of late as well, so he could have been practicing on the white ball format as well. So just there's a few things there that might be interrupting his template for the perfect batsmanship that he has at test match level. So for me, he's got to get back to that Pujara of old, not chase the balls, make the English bowlers bowl to him and starve them don't be worried about the strike rate, because once those English bowlers want to try to attack the stumps, then those leg side scoring opportunities come into play. And that's where Pujara is very good. And once he starts scoring on the leg side, then the England bowlers might go back to that offside line. And because he's been in there a lot longer, he'll be able to play those cut shots and through that square region where he's strong as well. So it's about him spending time out in the crease. And the other thing is, it's very important for him to spend that time out in the crease, because you've got someone like Anderson who's 39 and coming into this test match with an injury cloud over him. So someone like Pujara who can bat time and bat for a day and a half to wear the English bowlers down plays a part for the next 3 test matches coming forward. So it's disappointing that his technique is failing him out at the moment. Okay, next question, please, Shubs. Harshit Varma. Hey, Hoggy, what would you reckon would be India's total score for first innings? With the conditions that are available at the present moment, England will be disappointed that they didn't get wickets, but they'll be going into the dressing rooms thinking, right, we can get early wickets tomorrow. We've got the aggressive part coming out, and he's going to give us some opportunities as well. If we bowl well with India's long tail, we still have an opportunity of bowling them out for under 350. And if they do that, England sort of get a bit of momentum back in their favour. But with Ajinkya Rahane out there, Rahul and Pant and Jadeja, I think with that depth in batting, I think India will be looking to get around about 400, 420 on the board. And if they do that, they've battered England out of the contest. It will be very hard for England to work their way back into this match. So for me, they'll be looking for about 400, 420, obviously a lot more. But if they get to that with the position they're in and with what's happening with the wicket, with the testing conditions, I think they'll be very happy with around 400, 420. Good question there, Varma. Next question, please, Shubs. Pranav N. Whom does England miss most, Ben Stokes or Jofra Archer? I'd have to say Jofra Archer. Archer has the ability to bowl with extra pace, but he can also bowl spells within himself where he can move the ball off the seam and in the air as well. Ben Stokes, an all-rounder, mainly in there for his batting. Yeah, they do miss him, but I think Jofra Archer, with the way that England bowled yesterday, I think Archer would be the one that they are missing. Very good point there, Pranav, and that's a hard question to answer, but I'm going on the bowling side because that's where England's strength is. That's where England stay in the game. Their batting's not their strong point, and yesterday their bowlers was just slightly off their lines. Good point there. Okay, next one, please, Shubs. Oh, Austin Dacuna, how you going, mate? Good to see you. What's bothering Virat Kohli in Test cricket? Is it the balls outside the off stump? Thoughts on his innings? Well, I answered this a little earlier in the show today, but remember, Austin, he marked a little mark just outside the crease on that 4th, 5th stump line, and anything in there, he said, I'm going to play at it. Anything wide of that particular mark, I am going to leave. And I think when you see a batsman do something like that, you know that something's playing on his mind. And he was a little bit tentative out there. He played and missed a couple of times. He was a little unsure on that particular area. And I think sometimes, yes, it's good to mark it for the purpose for yourself, to make a point of it. But when you do it, you're sort of telling the opposition and the bowlers in the opposition that I'm a little unsure in that particular area. And that's where the bowlers should really tighten up and probably bowl the 3rd stump line or on that off stump line rather than the 4th stump line and try and make Virat Kohli play a lot more. So for me, Virat Kohli's just slightly out of nick, but don't be worried. He'll start getting that timing back, and he'll make some big scores later on in this series. All right, that's all we've got for you folks. And thanks very much for joining me. We've got a big test match over the weekend, but I will catch you next Monday live. We'll have the weekend off and let you enjoy that. And I'll see you next Monday live, where we discuss what's happened with the test match over the next couple of days. Thanks for joining me. Enjoy yourselves. Stay safe. And hopefully I'll get my phone back.